Hi everyone, Rose and I are here again to share in a special reading time, and I'm going to share another book off of my computer today. And so Rose and I will be down in the circle at the bottom of the screen if you want to follow along with us. And there are 2 days this week in the first week of May that we wanted to talk about. One is sort of a fun, silly day, and the other one marks the first time that an American went into space. And so because we're going to be reading about space and about the stars and planets, we brought something special today for our reading time. Rose wanted to make sure she had her lightsaber. And on Monday, it's May 4th, which is typically thought of as May the 4th be with you or May the Force be with you day from Star Wars. And on May 5th, the very next day, marks the day that the first American traveled into space. So since these 2 days are right next to each other, we thought we would pick an ebook to read to celebrate that. And so I'm going to show you how to do that today from our Tumblebook library. So if you look at the screen, you can see that we are at the PPS school library page, and I am going to have us click right here in the middle on Tumblebook library. Some devices, depending on what you're reading on, need to have an access code to be able to get into Tumblebooks. So if you need that access code, the username is PPS and the password is books. I'm not going to need that today. I'm going to go ahead and click right here on the Tumblebook library icon, and it's going to take us to the main screen. And here, you can see that there are different books that are scrolling along in the banners, and every day on the Tumblebook Library website, they feature a different storybook, read-along, ebook, graphic novel, and a nonfiction book. So you can log on to here every single day, and there will be something different highlighted at the top, which is really fun. Now, I already know the title of the book that I want to read to you, and so I'm going to go up here to the Tumble search and click on this plus. And then down here, I'll show you, we can search by title or author, subject. And so I'm going to go ahead and type in the title of the book today. And the book we're going to read is called Earthrise. And here the computer recognizes it, so I'm going to click on the title. And I'm going to click go. And then our book is going to be right down here. So I'm going to go ahead and click read online. And then it's going to open up our ebook for us today. I'm going to wait for it to load here. All right, so over here on the side, I can either manually turn the pages or have the pages turned automatically. And this is a book that can be read out loud. I'm going to read it today, so I'm going to turn off the volume of the book of the narrator on the computer so that you'll be able to hear my voice read the book. But as I'm reading, I want you to notice that the words will be highlighted as I read them so you can follow along a little easier. And there's also going to be some book animation, which is really fun. So Rose, are you ready to get started reading our book? You want to hang on to the lightsaber? All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to go manual, and here we can start the story together. 1968. It was a year of unrest. Many nations were at war. People around the world marched for peace, fairness, freedom. They struggled to find the best way to live together. Amid this conflict rose one shining moment captured in a photograph, a picture that forever changed the way we saw ourselves and our world. The light was breaking. through clear, open skies. It was a perfect morning for a launch. The Saturn V rocket towered above the launch pad, the Apollo spacecraft perched on top. 3 astronauts, Frank Berman, Jim Lovell, Bill Anders, walked toward the mighty metal ship that would whisk them far into outer space, farther than anyone had gone before. The Apollo 8 crew was going to the moon. Cars clogged the roads, spilling over with anxious onlookers. T minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8. Millions of people listened on radios. They gathered around TVs. Could human beings really reach the moon? What would they see when they got there? There were sounds like thunder, rumble, and roar. The crowd stood their ground while all the ground shook. The Saturn V engines had burst into life. We have liftoff! Gracefully, powerfully, the rocket climbed. Higher, faster, out of sight, pushing Apollo 8 into Earth orbit. Far above the crystal blue. Soon the time came to break free from Earth's orbit. No one had ever done this before. The engine fired again, setting Apollo 8 on course for the moon. 4, 3, 2, light on, ignition. Ignition! Mission Control watched the spacecraft's speed on their screens. The numbers got bigger as the rocket raced faster. Then, just as planned, the Saturn V engine shut off and broke away from Apollo 8. Now the spacecraft was coasting on a human dream, speeding the crew off to another world. The farther they traveled, the more awesome the view. The astronauts saw the whole turning Earth, no countries, no borders, floating in the vastness of space. Everyone they loved was on that tiny blue planet, and it was shrinking, getting smaller each time they looked. On their 3rd day out, the crew put on a show. They pointed a TV camera toward Earth. The picture, all crackly, black and white, went out around the world. You are looking at yourselves from 180,000 miles out. There she is, floating in space. Everyone who watched was amazed by this mysterious sight. Soon after the broadcast, the astronauts arrived. The moon came into view. The spacecraft dipped into orbit, and the crew got to work taking pictures of the rocks and craters below. Later, back on Earth, scientists would study those images, searching for the best sites to land future missions. Look at that, fantastic. It's gray, huh? Once, twice, 3 times around the moon, the crew's eyes were locked on the pocket and scarred lunar surface. The 4th time around, they all looked up. Look at that picture over there. That's the Earth coming up. Wow, is that pretty? Oh man, that's great. You got a color film, Jim? Hurry, quick, hurry up. Earth, a soft swirl of color, an oasis of light, was rising above the lifeless rock of the moon. Anders captured what they saw in a photograph. It was a picture of us all, to be remembered for all time. That photo changed the world. The Apollo 8 mission was a huge moment in human history. Astronauts Frank Boryan, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders were the first people ever to see the whole round Earth from space, the first people ever to fly to the moon. And when the crew saw Earth rise above the moon, Frank Borman described it as the most beautiful, heart-catching sight of his life. This Earthrise photo captured that beauty for everyone back home who couldn't take that journey into space, but Earthrise showed us more. Earthrise helped us to see what our world was from the planet without borders, a home to all people, a life-sustaining wonder through space. The new vision of the world was so powerful that it inspired the first Earth Day, which we celebrate today. In a time when people still struggle to live together in peace, that picture of Earth rising is as powerful now as it was in 1968. To the crew of Apollo 8, the Earthrise message was clear. Earth really is one world. What message does Earthrise send to you? And that's the end of the story that I have for us today. But one thing is we can close the book. And if you are interested in reading other books about the moon or space or planets or the stars, you can go back to this Tumble search. And with a grown-up or with a sibling, you can right here put in the subject that you would like to read about, and your family can help you with that. And you can continue enjoying Tumble books today. I hope you enjoyed our story. I know Rose and I enjoyed it, and it was fun to share a special space-themed read aloud with you today. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.